mayor of Moscow said there'd been another nighttime drone attack on the capital's business district.
Russia's war in Ukraine is increasingly blowing up in Moscow.
It started like any other night in Moscow. Glass towers glowing against the river, taxis cutting through drizzle, and then a single low hum above the skyline. By dawn, the capital of the world's largest nuclear power had been hit, again, by Ukrainian drones. Only this time, they didn't aim for bases or fuel depots. They aimed for the crown jewels, the $1.7 billion Moscow City Towers, the skyscrapers that symbolized modern Russia's power, pride, and money. And when those towers went up in fire and shattered glass, the Kremlin realized something terrifying. The war had come home.
An obvious threat. That is what the Kremlin is calling the latest drone strike on the Russian capital. It says 2 drones were destroyed.
Chapter 1. The City Above the Clouds. To the world, Moscow City was more than real estate. It was the Kremlin's vanity project, a mirror of Dubai, London, and New York all fused together. Oil oligarchs owned the penthouses. Foreign investors owned the lower floors. And the Russian government rented entire towers for ministries that handled cyber warfare, finance, and communications. The complex's price tag? $1.7 billion. The ego behind it? Priceless. Each tower glittered with mirrored glass. Each lobby guarded by private security that believed war couldn't touch steel and light. But hundreds of miles away, inside a windowless building in Kiev, someone was preparing to test that belief. Chapter 2. The Blueprint of Revenge. For months, Ukraine had watched Moscow City. Intelligence drones, satellite feeds, even hacked security cameras gave them a perfect layout. The air conditioning shafts, the service elevators, the radar coverage radiating from nearby air bases. But the real prize wasn't the building itself. It was what hid inside one of its towers. The National Cyber Command Hub, Russia's digital nerve center. From those offices, Russian programmers launched cyber attacks that shut down Ukraine's grids and hospitals. To Kiev, that hub was not civilian. It was a weapon wearing a business suit. And so, the mission was approved. Operation Iron Mirror. Chapter 3. The Silent Flock. The weapons weren't missiles or jets. They were drones, homemade, hybrid, patient, built from off-the-shelf parts, carbon fiber frames, lithium batteries, GoPro guidance, and explosive warheads improvised from Western munitions. Each cost less than $50,000. Each carried the potential to humiliate a $1.7 billion symbol. They were launched from somewhere deep inside Western Russia, a bold new tactic. Ukrainian intelligence had cultivated sleeper operators who smuggled the drones piece by piece, assembling them in forest clearings under the moon. The drones were programmed to fly low, hugging riverbanks and power lines, invisible to radar. Their destination, the IQ Tower, Moscow City, floors 17 through 21. Chapter 4. The Hour Before Impact. July 30th, 2:11 a.m. Moscow's air defense operators noticed flickers on their screens, false positives. They laughed it off. There had been dozens of false alarms that week. But one officer didn't laugh. He zoomed in on a speck moving at 120 kilometers per hour. Too slow for a missile. Too steady for a bird. Before he could call it in, the signal disappeared. The sky was calm again. And far below, in a penthouse apartment, an oligarch security guard poured himself another drink. 5 minutes later, the glass behind him shattered. Chapter 5. The First Strike. The drone struck the IQ Tower's 17th floor. The explosion lit the night like a camera flash, captured live on dozens of dashboard cameras. Office papers spiraled through the air like snow. Flaming debris rained down the side of the skyscraper. Inside, emergency sprinklers hissed while servers crackled and melted. It wasn't a random floor. That exact level housed the Ministry of Digital Development. Russia's Cyber Command lost communication with 3 regions instantly. Data centers, fried. Backups, gone. Moscow City's crown now looked like a torch. Chapter 6. The Second Wave. 5 minutes later, another drone appeared over the river. Security cameras caught its reflection gliding silently between towers. Panicked residents recorded it from balconies, their voices trembling as they whispered, "It's coming back." It slammed into the Oko Tower, the one housing luxury apartments and offices for state-owned banks. The blast ripped through glass facades, scattering shards across the highway. Sprinkler water mixed with flame. No warning siren had sounded. No interception. The air defenses guarding Moscow's heart had failed again. Chapter 7. Inside the control room. At that moment, deep inside Kiev's intelligence headquarters, Falcon, the same strategist who had orchestrated Tokmak's fall, watched through a live drone feed. He didn't cheer. He just exhaled. Target 2, confirmed, a voice said through static. Copy, Falcon replied. Shut the feed. Let the world tell the story. Minutes later, the internet exploded with videos. Moscow's glamorous business district, on fire. No censorship could contain it. For the first time since the war began, Russians saw their capital burn, and they couldn't look away. Chapter 8. The morning after. Sunrise revealed what the night had done. Scorched facades, broken glass carpeting the streets, police lines everywhere. But the real damage was invisible. Russian cyber networks staggered offline across multiple provinces. GPS glitches spread. Power grids flickered. Emergency broadcasts avoided the word attack. They called it an incident. Yet, Moscow City's residents knew better. They'd heard the hum. They'd seen the flash. The myth of Moscow's invincibility had cracked, and that crack would only widen. Chapter 9. The propaganda battle. Within hours, Russian media launched a frenzy. The defense ministry claimed all drones had been intercepted, yet live streams showed burning towers. Kremlin spokesmen accused the West of provoking terrorism, but social media was flooded with memes. Ukrainian flags superimposed over the Moscow skyline. Captions reading, "If you bring war to us, we'll bring the mirror to you." For Russia's propaganda machine, it was a nightmare. For Ukraine, it was art, a theater of precision and psychology. Chapter 10. The Inside Leak. 2 weeks later, Western intelligence sources confirmed what the world suspected. The strikes had been designed not just for impact, but for timing. That night, Russian officials had been holding a secret meeting in those same towers, a cyber warfare briefing for new AI surveillance systems. How Ukraine knew remains a mystery, but every participant had been forced to evacuate through smoke and glass. The message was clear. We know where you are. We can reach you. Chapter 11. Fear in the capital. After the attack, Moscow changed. Military checkpoints sprang up overnight. Anti-drone guns mounted on rooftops. Laser jammers on bridges. The city that once bragged of untouchable security now looked like a paranoid fortress. Air defense sirens tested daily. Children learned to hide under desks again, a Cold War echo. Russians realized that even their most modern structures, the gleaming symbols of Putin's new Russia, could burn just like any other target. The psychological shock was worth more than 100 missiles.